Hello, Cancer. Healing Grasshopper here to do your August 2024 reading. Um, oops. I had these out before to check my new lighting. I rearranged my lighting so there will be less glare now. You can see the cards better. Um, I had all these overhead lamps and stuff that I learned from content creation videos that I've learned I don't need. All I need are good sunlight or lights in my ceiling, and it's fine. So much better that way. Not that you guys care. I feel like I live and breathe content creation now. It's like all I think about now. Anywho, let's talk about your astrology. Um, there is there's not much to discuss, but for you, sorry, I didn't have your notes up. There's Saturn square Jupiter on the 19th that will stay with us until, I believe, November. Um, so for you, the energy is, um, well, actually not specifically for you. Generally, it's about shedding bad habits and excesses that might be unhealthy or counterproductive. Use caution in spending and urge to with an urge to make wise choices in finances. So this is, I'm not an astrologer, by the way. This comes from various sources. I just poke around the internet and see what the energies are for the month. And I just give you what I feel is the, are the highlights of the astrology because it affects us, right? So, anyway, what this blurb is talking about is the paradigm that we're moving into and the things that we're building in our lives. Right? In out with the old and in with the new, right? The old are the bad habits and the excesses and the things that don't serve us. And then for the moment, we're going to be mindful of our spending because there is going to be down the pike many things that we're going to have to tend to. And I'm not talking about struggle either. For the most part, not that everything's going to be easy street for us all the time, but we've come out of a very difficult astrological 15 years. And if you're interested in hearing about that, you can go have a look at your yearly reading, which will be posted in the description below. Um, and this year is a transition into easier energy, which, we haven't fully entered the easy energy yet. But like I said, it's kind of transitioned so that at the end of the year in December, when Pluto nestles back into Aquarius for a long, like 20 years, we will have shed that feeling of stuckness and feel more of attraction um, toward, and I don't mean attraction, I mean traction, as in tire traction. Um, like a wind in our sails that we didn't feel that we had before to implement our new lives. right? So the caution that we're going to feel in spending is because the astrological forces are sending us intuitive messages that we're going to need to conserve our resources so that when the opportunities start presenting ourselves themselves to us to implement new things, we'll have the resources to put into whatever it is, right? That house that we've been wanting to buy, the car that we need, the business that that we've been wanting to build for years, that kind of thing. Okay, so I'm not talking about, oh, scrounge your pennies and be careful because the struggle is coming. No, that's not what I'm saying. So, we can look forward to some good things. So far, I've done the earth signs, and earth is turned up with some minor, like everyday difficulties, no real catastrophes, even though the tower it has made an appearance for them. All of these. Okay. Spirit is really making it easy for me today. Like that. Okay. Um, I don't think this is reversed. This is reversed. Okay. Okay, I understand. Um, what I'm trying to say is even, the cards that you expect to be catastrophic and devastating were very much diminished. There was an appearance of a Three of Swords, which is like, oh no, but no, it was just like, fine, it's going to be over real quick. It's not that big of a deal. Just don't make a mountain out of it. And the tower was the same way. I suspect that's going to be how I suspect it's going to be like that throughout the signs. Okay, so we're starting here with the Ten of Swords that tells us that you have been feeling very much caught up in the recent past. And by recent, I don't mean necessarily the past few months. I mean past few years, this 15-year period um, that I described before of the Pluto and Capricorn, that you'll understand when you have a look at your yearly and the astrology and everything. Um, that we all as a collective have had a very, wait, no, we're keeping this, yes? Um, we all had really difficult times, and it wasn't just like one thing. It was a lot of us had like an avalanche of things, like dominoes that happened one after the other and didn't let us take a breath in between the catastrophes for 15 years, I know it was very much like that for me. Um, so, and, you know, brushing yourself off and finding your determination to move forward only to get knocked down again, right? So all of us are kind of have a certain PTSD from this, and it's we're all having varying difficulties of releasing this. And that's what the Ten of Swords reversed is saying, that you've been through a lot of painful things and you haven't quite released them yet. That's okay. Um, there have been quite a few readings like this with various signs where there's kind of a lingering negativity, um, that I always emphasize that this will lift in due time and no one's rushing you. You know, grief cannot be rushed. So, by all means, take the time to acknowledge the grief and feel the feels. But, you know, there's a difference between tending to grief and kind of wallowing in self pity, you know, which can be difficult to discern. But we'll talk about it. We won't get too long-winded. I've said enough about this Ten of Swords. We'll come back to it as the cards reveal themselves. Um, the Cancers, you guys have had like a real disruption in your comfort zone and how people have really taken a sledgehammer to it. You know, everything that, not necessarily everything, but feeling like everything that you hold dear has been corrupted and tainted, and you know, but you have to remember that we're not put on this earth for rainbows and lollipops all the time. I mean, there certainly is that, um, but we're put in adverse situations, in karmic situations, to help us grow. And I know that I have to remind myself of that very, very often. So there's that. Because, by the way, I'm a Capricorn sun, and Capricorns are notorious for getting, you know, the sharp end of the stick all the time from the universe. And, you know, there are a lot of sayings about Capricorns, like we grow in reverse and that kind of thing. We are born old people and we grow younger as we get older. It's because in the beginning of our lives, Saturn really does kick our butts and throws handfuls of karmic lessons at us relentlessly until we've learned our lesson. And then, you know, we get the ice cream and cake towards the end of our life. Um, but, you know, that is happening in, you know, on a smaller scale with the collective, where, like I said, we went through this 15 years of hell and now we're moving into an easier paradigm. The star, right? So this is like, don't don't fret, um don't be too depressed about your situation, because you have a beautiful timeline approaching, um and that those dreams that you've had all your life, you can take them out of the mothballs that you had in the back closet of your heart and mind, that it's about to manifest itself. And by about, I mean, you're going to start to see signs of it in the next 6 months. Is it fully going to materialize then? No, because we're in the transition year. Remember I said, right? So this year is, I often liken it to kind of you bought a new house, but it's an old house. It's very dusty. It needs a lot of work, and here we are painting and dusting and mopping and all that stuff, but with pep in our step because we know that we're going to be enjoying a beautiful new house soon. But right now we're doing the mopping and the cleaning and So here's the Hanged Man, which says exactly what I just said, right? The dreams are going to appear and you're going to start to see it appear too. The Hanged Man talks about gaining a new perspective. And that new perspective is if you haven't felt or seen this new paradigm that I'm talking about materializing, you will get some kind of sign of that this month. Again, I want to emphasize that's not to say you're going to get the full cookie, cake, and ice cream this month, but at least this Ten of Swords feeling of, oh, everything happens to me, everything's terrible, I can't escape from the misery, you're going to start to see those clouds parting this Ace of Cups, right? This is hugs from the universe, hugs from spirit. This is an acknowledgement of all that especially because it's under the Ten of Swords here. This is pure love from the universe. We know that you've been through it. We understand your pain. It's okay. You're going to be fine. It's kind of like oh, there. Everything's good. It's going to be fine. Your center card, very interesting, is the Knight of Swords next to the Ace of Cups. Wow, that's beautiful. I don't recall ever having this combination before and this interpretation quite like this before. The Knight of Swords is you, right? Cancer. There's going to be something. There's going to be something that's a synchronicity or something extraordinary. Oh, okay. And Spirit just reminded me of the dream that I had 2 days ago. I'm going to tell you about that in just a moment. Huh. There's going to be something that happens and it can be very small thing, but you're going to notice it and you're going to be like, huh, that's not a coincidence. It's going to be some kind of synchronicity. And it doesn't have to be number synchronicity, just some kind of weird coincidence, right? That's going to arouse your hope and is going to make you sit up and listen. You're going to be like, okay, Spirit, I hear you. What do you got for me? Right, and it's under the star too. So beautiful. Cancer. It's changing for you. And look at the Hermit, right? This is you really starting to realize that the clouds are parting. You witnessed it with your eyes and are processing it with your mind. And this is you feeling and processing with your heart and third eye, your crown chakra, just really, right? This is intellectual acknowledgement and spiritual acknowledgement of universal love here that's being delivered to you. I don't know what to say, Cancer. So beautiful. King of Pentacles, right? So you see how you have your PTSD from the misery that you're emerging from? There, like I said, from the universe, it's going to get better. And look at you under here in the lap of luxury and enjoying your new life. It's arriving. And I would not be surprised if like the two and or three of cups especially shows up. That, kind of seeing your ships roll in type energy. The Wheel of Fortune. Is this reversed? It's not reversed. Okay. Okay. Yes. Right. And see, I was going to interrupt myself, but I decided not to when I was talking about the Knight of Swords, right? And telling you about the synchronicity. Because as soon as, oh, and I need to tell you the dream too. I just got interrupted again by spirit. Looking up here at the Ten of Swords, after I saw Knight of Swords, right? This, most of you, this is going to slap you in the face. You're not going to be able to mistake it. But I wanted to give some of you a caveat that because some of you are dwelling in this Ten of Swords energy a little bit more than most. And this is reminding me of Capricorn too, because there's two groups of Capricorns that I'm dealing with now. The ones that are with me and the ones that are like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't see any blessings coming. Okay. So I see somewhat of that split here. Maybe happening. I feel like I have the majority with you. But if there are a few of you, not necessarily now in the moment of listening to this, but in looking back at this through the month, if you don't see this appearing and you just still are stuck in this Ten of Swords energy, I really need for you guys to exercise your gratitude. And by exercise, I mean real deliberate practice of no matter how bad you're feeling, you're going to find the simplest thing to be grateful for. I mean, the simplest. The bed that you just got out of, the toothbrush that you're holding in your hands. And you're going to build upon that as the day progresses. I say day because whatever day that is that you're thinking to yourself, oh, Grasshopper said this things were going to be better. I don't feel like that. It's terrible. As soon as you feel that, you're going to stop and you're going to exercise your gratitude. Um, you can make an affirmation for yourself. When I'm feeling that way, I have an affirmation. Um, I I am loved. I am blessed. I am protected. I am supported. Right? You can do Ho'oponopono as well, or whatever else that makes you feel better. That the first mantra that I was talking about works for me every time, but I need to do it over and over again until eventually I feel better. It works every time. Anyway, look at the Wheel of Fortune next to the King of Pentacles, right? And here you have the star here, promise of a wish come true. Um, and this is also your inner potential. You intellectually, in your mind, really acknowledging that and being inspired to move towards it. And the Wheel of Fortune is the the arrival of your good karma. But the Six of Pentacles over here is talking about what I just said. This is what I call the don't be spiteful, be generous card. Okay? Oh, we still have some glare, huh? It's kind of inescapable with this deck. I like to use this deck though because it just feels good in my hand and it's easier than most to extract cards or whatever. So forgive me. Um, the don't be spiteful, be generous card. Okay. So it's the merchant, the rich merchant giving alms to the poor. So, and this never means that I can remember in my readings monetary charity. What it means is being generous in your words, your thoughts, your kindness, that kind of thing. But this is kindness to yourself in this reading, where if you do the spiritual hygiene and the self care, and by spiritual hygiene, I mean taking the time to, when you're feeling bad, stop what you're doing. Go take a simple bath. You can put Himalayan salts, even table salts. I like to put Florida water. Um, I really love rue as well. Whatever you like to put in your bath that makes you feel relaxed and happy, that smells good to you, um, is important. Going outside, grounding. These are all spiritual hygiene because these are the type of things that will ground you, connect you to spirit, and help dissipate that cloud that you have hanging around you, Cancer. Okay? So that if you are not feeling this row here and you're over here in this Ten of Swords, again, you do that self care and it's going to place you in this Knight of Swords energy. So let's see what your outcome card is. What do we got, Spirit, for outcome? King of Cups? Okay. Right? So that's very appropriate. King of Cups is the stoic king. He's not overly stoic, he's not cold, but he has his emotions in full check. He does not let his emotions overtake him, cloud his judgment, or get in the way of anything that he wants to build for himself. Because we all know our emotions can sometimes derail things. That is not the King of Cups. He is the master of controlling that for himself, right? And this is the energy that you need to take on. You're not going to let anger, resentment, sadness, depression, all those things um, hold you down and steer you off your path. Queen of Swords. Reversed? No. Queen of Swords, we're going to put with the Ten of Swords over here. Kind of put it in between the Knight of Swords as well. So Queen of Swords is the BS cutter, right? She knows what doesn't serve her. She sees it a mile away and she does not hesitate to remove it from her life. Okay. And oftentimes this can refer to her, this can refer to her interpersonal relationships, right? When someone's lying to her, she's can spot the lie and she deals with it accordingly. But for you, this is not really that. This is within your own heart, um, being able to discern what emotions and limiting beliefs are not serving you and discarding them. King of Swords. Okay. So you've got court cards here. Yeah. So King of Swords is the Queen of Swords counterpart. So what Spirit is saying here is that there needs to be, um, a a balance of your. Oh, wait a minute. That dream came to mind again. Spirit is really not letting me forget this dream. Okay. I had a really, really interesting dream and to be clear, my dreamscape is often dark, um, Cancer. So don't feel the group still going through difficulty. Don't think that you're alone in your difficulties. I am still processing the difficulties that I've had throughout my life. I'm still processing childhood things. All right. So I'm used to like borderline nightmares, not like nightmares, but just kind of dark dreams. But this was one of those rare nights where I was not having a dark dream. There were some dark elements to it, but it was very pleasant. Where I'm not going to tell you the whole dream, but in a nutshell, it was. I don't know if you guys know what liminal space is. If you look it up, it's very interesting. Um, it's kind of this matrixy thing that people are talking about. Some people getting caught in these spaces that are like empty office spaces that you can't get out of. Like you go through door upon door upon door, and it just leads you to another empty space, right? So I was in a liminal space, but like a really beautiful liminal space. Like you would walk through room upon room, and each room was prettier than the next one. And most of the time in liminal space, you're alone, and there's like this feeling of depression and despair and panic or whatever. But this one was, I was with a group of four, including myself. So there was no like aloneness or fear or anything. It was kind of feeling of wonder. Um, and I was connecting especially with this one male companion, and it kind of felt like we were falling for each other, but it never developed. But it was like that beautiful feeling of courtship and that kind of thing. But that's not that's as far as I'm going to go into it, because it was a very long and involved dream, and it wasn't a sexy dream at all, but it was just like a beautiful dream. Okay, so beautiful liminal space. The end, right? I wake up, and it's very rare that I feel like this. I feel like this more when I have nightmares. You know, when you wake up from a nightmare and things don't feel right, like you've brought the nightmare with you into reality, and every sound you jump at and the world doesn't feel right. It was like that, but in reverse. Like the world looked a little different. It was it's hard to explain. I was in the dark, obviously, but I could still see the room around me, and there were little like bursts of illumination in the room. Very faint illumination, but, and then I live in a somewhat urban, suburban space, so there's always noise, even though it was in the middle of the night and I heard like distant talking and stuff, and it was indescribably different, right? And almost like, but nice. I don't know how to explain it. But then, and I would say it was 30 minutes to maybe a full minute of this as I'm observing my surroundings. Um, and my skin felt nice too. Um, and then I said out loud, what a beautiful dream. And I'm telling you, within a second of or two of saying that, I heard the prettiest bicycle bell. You know those bling bling, but it's didn't sound like a regular bicycle bell. It was like a few octaves lower and longer. It was just very, very pretty sounding. And oh, and a little bit slower because usually they're like bring bring, like I said, but it was like bring bring, like a little longer. And it was very clear to me that that was an acknowledgement of what I just said. And I did not imagine this. I was not dreaming. I was completely awake and heard this audibly and not like in my own mind's clairaudiently. No, I heard it and my windows were open. I was sleeping with my windows open. I heard it outside of my house, like on the street. So the reason why Spirit had been nagging me to tell the story is because it's going, this Knight of Swords acknowledgement that you're going to have is going to be something like that, that only you are going to recognize. That you're going to be like, wow, that's not a coincidence that I just heard a beautiful bicycle bell. Okay? This happened 2 nights ago, and that kind of shimmer that I was talking about, the burst of illumination, has dissipated and it's gone back to my regular life. But I still have this feeling inside of me that somehow I am switching paradigms. Okay? There is something that's going to happen to you, Cancer, that's going to, and it doesn't necessarily need to mean anything to anyone but you, but it's going to give you some kind of certainty that the times are changing for you. Now, the fact that you have court cards here and all of these swords are telling me that this is, again, a shift in your mind of great significance. The Knight of Swords, by the way, can, as you can see, is a very like dynamic, chaotic kind of card. And sometimes when you pull this card out, especially when it's reversed, it's kind of a message of, see if this is any better here. Might be a little. It's kind of a message of slow down, kind of don't be so rash. in your thoughts and movements. Um, but for you, this is kind of a sudden acknowledgement and excitement. And, but the Queen and King of Swords flanking this Knight of Swords is you being excited, but, you know, being practical about it, but knowing what you witnessed is real, knowing that you need to get to work cutting through this Ten of Swords. It's kind of like machete in the jungle. If you get to work hacking away the overgrowth, you're going to get to the beautiful meadow. The Shangri-La is ahead of you. Now, Queen and King of Swords talks about, right, so I was talking about the dynamics, right? Queen of Swords is more dynamic than the King of Swords. King of Swords is more passive, and there is a deck that I have that I really love where he's got this sword kind of resting downward, and he is, because see how this hand over here is resting on his lap, but the Queen of Swords over here has hers up. It's like she's inviting the bullshit. She's like, here, bring the bullshit. I'm going to take care of that. But King of Swords is more of, okay, I'm just going to passively observe this and take care of it as it comes. So you see how there is a balance of active uh, sorting and doing and moving with an observing type energy. Put the deck upside down. Is justice for us? No. Okay. Wait. How many more cards do we have coming? More than two? More than one? We have two. Okay. There's one. Okay. This one. This one. Not this one. Okay. More swords for you. The Seven of Swords. Reversed. Right. So we've got the Four of Cups that we're going to put with the Ten of Swords. This cup right here is this Ace of Cups here. And what did we say this Ace of Cups was? A cup of love handed to you from the universe, right? And we all know the Four of Cups is, apathy, indifference, not paying attention to what's in front of you, right? And you can very well be like this when you're in this energy. And remember, I said before, we were talking about that, right? The practice and gratitude and, that kind of thing. Because again, if you're too absorbed in this Ten of Swords energy, you're not going to see this cup being handed to you that the universe so desperately wants to give to you. Okay. So excuse me. The Seven of Swords is telling us that we can put this up here with the Ten of Swords as well. Okay. Before I was talking a lot about, when I was talking about the Queen of Swords here, and we're not talking about interpersonal relationships and that kind of thing, but we are with this one, but only briefly, right? This is Spirit briefly addressing the fact that there are people that have affected you in the recent past 15 years that it's time to forgive them, time to let go, time to release them physically, mentally in our lives, but also for the ones that we feel resentful of, and the ones who are feeling resentful of us as well. That we are not going to let that energy impede us, that we are going to cut the cord, the energetic cord, the psychic cords, and we're going to leave these relationships with all of the things that the psychic lessons the karmic lessons that we've learned, right? And the Ten of Swords is very much that as well. Every sword in his back is a lesson that he's learned. Okay, so I think that's it for tarot. We can get some advice cards now. Okay, you have one Sonia Choquette card coming. Ask your guides card. All right, let's see what we got. This one, not this one, or this one. Ooh, okay. Decisions, of course. So 11. I always do that. I look at the page number instead of the heading number. Uh, 11. Okay. Decisions. The um the keywords are confusion, quandary, ambivalence, and judging. You are now or will soon face many choices and may not be sure what to do. Leave or stay in a job. Terminate or recommit to a relationship. What were we just talking about? Leaving things behind, and very good. Um, Terminate or recommit to a relationship. Stop or continue a creative project. Go to work or stay at home with the kids. Life presents everyone with an endless stream of choices, and figuring out what's best is never simple. Fortunately, your higher self is here to help you make the best choice among so many. Your divine self will guide you, right? Ace of Cups. If you're willing to drop some of the balls you presently juggle, the key is identifying what you care about right now rather than caring for the needs of others. Focus on your priorities and don't let yourself be overwhelmed or sidetracked by the demands or expectations of those around you. This doesn't mean abandoning your responsibilities to those in real need of care. Oh my gosh, this is the perfect message for Cancer, such as small children or vulnerable others who depend on you. My nails are so dirty from cooking earlier. This is mushroom pulp. Um, it means being fully centered in self care and refraining from overtaking competent adults who are responsible for themselves. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me say that again. It means being fully centered in self care and refraining from over caretaking competent adults who are responsible for themselves. You are abandoning You aren't abandoning anyone by doing this. Your higher self simply reminds you not to abandon yourself. Put yourself first right now. It is the best thing to do. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Your higher self's message to you. Don't try to be all things to all people. Take care of yourself now. This should say Cancer on the bottom. It's typically a Cancer message. Okay. Time to think about Cancer. Cancer deserves better. Cancer is going to get better. Cancer is about to realize his or her dreams. Okay? That is your reading, guys. I look forward to hearing from you in the comments. I love engaging with you. I answer every single comment with glee. So if you have something on your mind, oh, and share that synchronicity, please. I'd really love to hear about it. Um, so I shared mine with you. I want to hear yours. So, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, by the way, guys. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Those of you who are already subscribed, make sure that you're still subscribed because mysteriously subscribes can unsubscribe themselves for whatever reason I haven't figured out, but there you have it. And click the like button, please. It helps me out. Okay? I will speak to you soon, guys. Love, light, and many blessings.